This is the Final Word Daily, the West Indies Australia Daily, coming to you from Grenada for the last time. Day 4. The perceptive may notice, if you're watching on video, that it is very much daylight, whereas the other times it has not been daylight. So that may lead you to some conclusions about a program brought to you by Maurice Blackburn, the number one law firm, plaintiff-wise, in Australia. Bharat, please tell the people in the space of 30 seconds why we are standing here in the middle of a hot Grenadan afternoon.
I think I'll need 15 because Australia lost 3 wickets very quickly, left West Indies to chase down 277, and then they were awful. It was atrocious batting, really good bowling from Australia, and Australia won by 133 runs. That's all I want to say about that West Indian display.
That is the shortest 30-second summary you have ever done, certainly. There may have been a couple shorter in the history of the show, but not many. And broadly, I concur that you just don't feel the need to talk about it, given that West Indies did the job they needed to do with the ball initially. Having done that through the match, through the series, for the most part, that second innings in Bridgetown, things got away from them a bit. Here, they didn't really let that happen. Australia only added about 20 overnight. They had 3 wickets in hand. We've seen Cummins, Stark, Carey, Hazelwood put on a lot more than that before. Didn't let that happen. Cummins' first ball he faced of the day, nicked it, gone. Held on to a catch as well. That was a wicketkeeper catching it, which is a little bit less fraught than some of the slips catching. Carey only adds 4 runs. He's pinned LBW. Ball sort of kept a bit low, came in at him. And then they go through Hazelwood and knock middle stump out after Stark had hit a few. So Stark was 13 not out, I think it was. Most of the runs added came from him. West Indies have wrapped them up. 200 and, what was it, 40, 50, 40? 30s.
276, so 240.
276 to
so
chase.
33 was the 277 to chase, so 276.
Yes.
So 276 minus 33 is 243.
Okay, 243. That sounds right in retrospect. Which is a pretty good score to bowl out a team for, and 270. It's a hard chase. It's something that in Test cricket it's a serious consideration. But it was only day 4, and this pitch wasn't in great nick by day 4. It was keeping low. It was ratty. But I think the telling thing, the defining thing for me was that when it was 200, and even when it went past 250, I thought zero chance. There is no chance West Indies are making 250 against this attack on this pitch. And that is a sad reflection of where their batting is at. Their bowling has been good. Their fielding has been okay. At times it's had its problems, but there's been some good stuff as well. The batting's been awful. And the batting today was awful and continued to be awful right from the start. Was it second over of the innings? Campbell, bang, on the pad, see you later. Out for bugger all. Brathwaite, 100th test, made 7. Dinky. Then he's gone. He's gone nowhere in the last 2.5 years, as we've spoken about. And then on it goes. Casey Carty got absolutely bullied. Got beaten up. The ball, he was getting it. It was jumping at him. It was smashing his gloves. It was keeping low. It was doing all sorts. He managed to tough it out for about 20 balls. He got hit on the gloves 3 or 4 times, and eventually Stark just bowls that channel outside off stump, and it moves a little bit, and he pushes a little bit, and it's just the most standard nick because he didn't really want to be there anymore. And then Brandon King, who top scored in the first innings, gets a good Cummins ball, the kind of Cummins ball that he bowls, the angle in, the deck away. So they're 4 for fuck all at that point, and there was a little partnership with Chase and Hope, but it was almost the most defining thing of the innings was just how bad Shay Hope looked. Running at the bowler, slogging at the ball, slapping away, getting away with a couple of streaky ones, and then going for a pull shot that went straight up, and Hazelwood just had to stand there in his follow-through and wait for it to drop in his hands. It was ugly. It was sad. It was depressing. It was deflating. I don't know what to say.
Look, as someone who grew up rallying around the West Indies, once you have been a journalist for as long as I have, if I sound old, I am old, I guess, you kind of lose. I still want them to
they'll throw up too many roadblocks. Not for an old crook like me.
I wish I could have speak to him now, but he's long gone, and this old man is all that's left behind. That's what I feel like, honestly, when it comes to my support for the West Indies.
Yeah, a terrible mistake you made as a young man.
As a very young kid. From the moment they started losing, but I've stuck with them. Deep inside, I think I still do rally for them. It was quite heartbreaking just bumping into Darren Sammy earlier. I'd spoken to him or interviewed him 2 days before the first test, and he was all gung-ho. He spoke about how...
Darren gung-ho?
Darren Gung-ho, not Darren Ganga, who's also there, also here around. But he was, like Darren Sammy does, he does believe in the bigger purpose, the preacher man as they call him, and he was put in this role by, like he said, by God, someone higher up, and he had a role to play.
God runs Cricket West Indies.
God runs Darren Sammy's life.
Sure.
He's a very religious man, and you can see how desperately he wants this team to do what he expects them to do. The camera is always on him while he sat in the dressing room. Ruston Chase said, well, he loves the camera quite a bit as well about his coach, so that was interesting before the game. But it was so deflating, and it wasn't even the fact that they lost. We knew they were going to lose, and we knew the game would end today, sometime today. You knew they'll get bowled out, but the fact that they just didn't want to be there, and of all the batters who got out today, I felt the most for KC Khadi. At least he didn't play an airy-fairy shot and get out, or even during those 19 balls he faced, he really gritted out. And when he got out, I remember being on commentary and saying, I'm relieved for him. Like, I think it felt like a sentence he had served out there in the middle, more than a test innings. It was done. He could go back and just relax and not worry about these guys anymore. Who knows if he plays the third test or not. But Shay Hope...
He paid for his mistakes and then some.
And some, I know. And, well, we can continue on our Shawshank run for a while, but that's how bad the performance was. But Shay Hope, you mentioned... Again, I interviewed him 2 days before the test about his test return, and he said, look, I haven't played a lot of first-class cricket. He just played 4 first-class matches between November 2021 and this test match, spread out over 4 years or so, 3.5 years. And he said, no, I'm back because test cricket is the pinnacle, and I really want to... I've done it before in test cricket. I want to do it again, and I want to show all the youngsters in the region that test cricket is still supreme. And if someone like me, who's white ball captain, comes into this team and comes back to test cricket and shows what you need to succeed in test cricket, it'll be a great sign. But not on the basis of how you bat it.
Is what you need to succeed in test cricket when you're playing on a difficult pitch that's up and down, that has difficult bounce against a top-level bowling attack, is what you need to just like slap at everything, gallop around in your crease. I mean, the shot that he played, like, the old line about sunburn on the roof of your mouth, that was one of the shots that he played where he heaved it to the leg side and his whole head went back and up. It was like genuinely like park cricket at times. And then the one where he came running at Hazelwood and tried to slap him over mid-off, and then gets one away over mid-on, and then pops that one up in the air. And Ruston Chase was the one who looked like a test batter for about 20 minutes. He had a bit of a degree of style. He hit a couple of sixes, but he wasn't really looking for it. He just got that ball from Stark that was there, that was full enough to flick off his pads, and he's got that shot that we saw in the first innings as well, where he hit it, or it was Bridgetown, wasn't it?
No, it was here.
Squarer.
No, it was here off
mixing
Cummins.
together. That's right. And it went deep square leg that time, and it went over sort of straighter this time, over a wide long off. I think the Black Dog's back, the one that interrupted it on day one.
Yes, the original one.
The OG. So, and there was the other six that he hit when he... but he wasn't going out there looking to smash it. He just hit the couple of balls that he got that were smashable. And then he gets the one from Stark, wasn't it, that came in and, again, just seemed to keep a little low, and it snuck in and it nailed him on the pad.
So upset.
This could be Hall of Fame, that how often do you see a guy, like, sink to his knees after getting hit on the pad and then ask for the review? I mean, he knew he was out, but he felt he just had to check just in case there was some Hail Mary. So then down they slide from there. Justin Graves doesn't make any, gets caught on the pads, and then the Josephs came out and smashed a few.
6 out.
Yeah, pretty much the way that it went. This could also be Hall of Fame worthy, I suppose. So they each hit a couple of sixes, 3 and 2, I think, and then Jaden Seals hit one down the ground. They were all off Nathan Lyon, and then they all got out to Nathan Lyon. So it's been a theme of this series for Nathan Lyon. He's getting hit for a lot of sixes, and he's still picking up a decent number of wickets. Got 5 wickets in the first test, 3 in the second, and was it 2 in the first? So another 5 here.
5, yeah.
So his bowling average has come down, and we've been tracking this. We've been watching this for a long, long time as it's getting closer to 29.99 to see if he can break back into the 20s. He's at 30.14. He hasn't had a bowling average this low since 2012.
Oh, right.
So he's on the right path, even though he keeps getting I mean, one of those was just wasted out second decker height, and it went into the gap between the stands and disappeared. But a couple of them will go, and then he'll take a wicket. So as long as he can get hit for 3 sixes per wicket, as long as he gets the wicket, that average will... Actually, he can hit for 5 sixes per wicket, and the average will keep coming down marginally.
Yeah, especially when it's no longer... It feels like when Nathan Lyon is bowling to the lower order, or, well, even when he was bowling to Brandon King, it seems like more... it's more 6 and out, or rather than Test cricket. And Alzari in particular, hit the first ball he faced, hit him straight over his head for 6. The second ball, he just swatted him over deep backward square leg for 6. And the third ball he faced from Nathan Lyon, he did face a ball from Stark at the other end. He tried it again, got out, and Shamar Joseph, who's, I don't know if any one batter has hit Nathan Lyon for more sixes in the same series as Shamar has already, because he hit him for 3 sixes over there, he hit him for 2 sixes in the first innings here, 3 sixes today. And this is statistically the most expensive Nathan Lyon ever has been in a series. His economy after 2 tests is 4.7. He won't be bothered by it. He's taken 10 wickets at 21. But the only 2 other times that he's gone at 4 or above in the Test series, 2023 Ashes. When he went at 4, he only bowled 66 overs before the injury at Lords, but he went at 4 dot, and we have to go all the way back to his first tour of India, the 2013 Border Gavaskar Trophy, where he went at 4.2, which again he didn't play all 4 Test matches back then. But it's been a strange kind of series for him. He's not been needed to bowl to the top order. He did break the partnership and get rid of Greaves and King in the first innings here, but generally it's been lower order wickets because the top order hasn't really survived for too long against the new bowlers or the fast bowlers, or even Bo Webster for that matter.
And Cummins is happy to take the gamble and say, well, they'll slog you for a few and you'll get them out, and it's the quickest way to get the result done. We will also quickly get the result done. We'll come to the Hall of Fame after your last reminder for this Test match about Maurice Blackburn, #1 plaintiff law firm in Australia. That's because they take on cases that other people don't want to, because they might not get paid enough, because they might not make enough money, because that's what lawyers like to do. Maury B's like to represent people who don't always have representation or can't get representation, and they'll often take on those cases on a no-win, no-fee basis. So speak to them if you are somebody who needs that representation and you don't have a big expensive law firm at your back because you're not that kind of person. That's okay. That's what they're there for. Founded in 1919. We'll be back. It is a final word. It is the Daily, the West Indies Australia Daily. Jeff Lemon, Bharat Sundaresan, standing on the grass at Grenada for what may be the last time. There's some chance we might be. I'm not going to confirm this yet because, wait until things happen. But
I have to make a few more phone calls.
To make a few phone calls, but we're angling to get a hit out here tomorrow, given that day 5 will not be required for the Test match. But we'll see how that goes. Hall of Fame, let's start with you and your secretarial work in the commentary box this afternoon.
It has to be one. I think it is the funniest moment ever in my commentary career. So I was on the air. First, a bit of background on our wonderful friend Andrew Mason. You need to know more about Andrew Mason. Sure. Andrew Mason is the voice of Caribbean cricket. In a way, he's been doing Test commentary since 1983, before I was born. I think you were a year old back then, or like very early. Yeah, barely a year old. As just India had come to West Indies after they won the World Cup. That's how long back. And he's also been, part of our SEN team as the one Caribbean voice, apart from the times I do my various accents. And in a way, talk as much about the West Indies as he does, even sing at times. And Andrew Mason has strong opinions on a lot of things. He runs his own show called Mason and Guest. You and I have been regularly the guest as part of Mason and Guest.
He's the Mason.
He is the Mason. He's always the Mason. And this morning, when Roston Chase walked out to bat, and I was on air with him, just the two of us, he was clearly peeved with how West Indies has started in the run chase. And I could see him spewing off air. He puts the headset on and he says, West Indies, this is awful batting from them. Roston Chase does not like facing fast bowling, to the extent that when he sees a fast bowler, he faces him from square leg. I remember him saying that, and I said, did you just say the West Indian captain is scared of fast bowling and doesn't want to face it? He's like, yeah, man. And I said, well, I'll just let it be. But then what happens? Almost half an hour, 45 minutes later, Roston Chase is still in there. He's hit Stark for a 6. He's pumped someone else down the ground for 4. And Andrew Mason gets a call. And he's about to go on air. And he says, "Oh, Chase's father is calling. Roston's father is calling." And we thought he's just joking. But he wasn't, because Andrew Mason doesn't joke about these things, because one time he criticized Craig Brathwaite. Craig Brathwaite's grandmother called him and abused him. So today it was the turn of Roston Chase's father.
Well, Craig Brathwaite's grandma might need to get on the line to us, because he's been absolutely awful in this series.
Yes, he has been. Maybe get on the line with him.
Yeah.
But rather than just not answer the call, Andrew Mason walks up to me, answers it and gives it to me. And now I have never spoken to Roston Chase's father. I don't know what his name is.
One of the only people in the Caribbean you have never spoken
Correct.
to.
Or the parent of a cricketer I haven't
Sure.
spoken to. And Andrew Mason just puts the headset on and he's on commentary. So I have to speak to, and the phone number is saved as Chase's father. So I'm speaking to Chase's father. I don't know. I said, "Hello, sir. How are you? Where's Andrew? Where's Andrew?" I said, "Oh, sir, he's just got on the radio. He's on there. We're doing radio commentary." "I don't care, because I'm not listening to the radio and I'm not listening to Andrew. So you tell him I'm only watching TV from now on. And the next time he's off, he has to call me." And I just got told off by, and I'm still trying to play it down, saying, "Oh, but they're looking good now. Or maybe there's, yeah, okay, I don't know. I don't want to talk to you." And then he just kept the phone. So I got told off by Roston Chase's father.
On behalf
of Andrew Mason. But then Andrew stuck by his word. He said, "No, I will call him." And it was poetic, because last over of Andrew's stint, where he has to make the call as soon as he's getting off air, what happens? Roston Chase gets out to Mitchell Stark. So he calls the wicket, and then I don't know whether he called Mr. Randolph. I think Randolph Chase? Radcliffe Chase.
Chase, what a name.
What a great name. So, sorry, Mr. Chase, but I'm the one who copped it from him.
Yeah, well, look, Roston did better than anybody else today. He made 35.
Yeah.
That's about as good as it got. They got bowled out in under 35 overs.
It's the second time.
It's embarrassing.
It is very embarrassing.
It feels like not just a lack of technique, but a lack of, I don't know, spine, lack of actually wanting to do it. Didn't want it enough, as we say in sports coverage.
It always is difficult talking about a team like the West Indies where they are now. I know they have their financial issues. I know they don't play as much Test cricket as always, but at the same time, I think it's also fair not to mollycoddle them or to make excuses on their behalf, because just speaking to Dad and Sammy, he wasn't doing that either. No. So this was not Test quality. The bowling's been so good, and that's been the disappointing thing. Going back, hope is a beautiful thing. Someone said hope might be the most beautiful of things.
Most beautiful things. Shay Hope, however, is not.
No, he's not.
Not presently.
Neither is this batting lineup. And the bowlers give us hope, and they make us believe. And both Test matches, at the end of the first innings for both teams, they've looked relatively close. The first, West Indies took a 10-run lead in Barbados. Yeah. Here they were behind just by 33. But then the bowling has been a little loose, probably in the third, but the batting's been awful. Not Test quality.
The batting's been hopeless. That's how it has been. My last Hall of Fame's just a word for the most populated stand, the one behind us here. Because I went down and spent some time there yesterday. And, I mean, the place looked empty on TV, but that stand was absolutely jiving. It was lively up here where the bars are, and the dancing, they had the band over this side, but over this side it was good fun. And my last Hall of Fame was just the little byplay I was watching from the commentary box window, where there was a fellow down here coiling up a cable, and the cable was moving slowly across the grass, and a lizard was like chasing the end of the cable a little bit at a time. As it moved, it would go like a cat would do when you're moving something across the ground. And it went for a good 20 meters of lizard chase, which was, the best chase that I saw today, and the most effective chase that I saw today.
Better than Roston?
Better than West Indies and better than Roston. That chase was dire.
That says it all.
It was disgusting. It's over, thank God. We'll go to Jamaica. It'll be a pink ball test, in theory, if the lights work. We're not entirely sure on that. That's still a little bit up in the air. And, it may be shorter than this. Who knows? We will find out. That's been us. If you want to help us get to Jamaica and then get Bharat home via Peru, which is the route
for now, I'm going to Lima. Yeah. Then we'll see where I get to.
Then we'll see from there. If you want to help out with that, it is a difficult thing to make happen to get around the world to all these games. Patreon.com/thefinalword. That's where our community is. That's where nice people are hanging out, including some some of our friends from the show who have travelled here for this match, who we'll be seeing shortly. Thanks to Maurice Blackburn for sponsoring it. Thanks to Bharat for stepping in for the voiceless Adam Collins in this test match.
I'm the voice for the voiceless.
You're the voice of the Caribbean, and he's the voiceless of the Caribbean at the moment. And we will be with you again very soon. Something else will happen, and we'll be there. See ya.